Hi, my name is Michelle. I'm a romance writer who is working on my debut series under the pen name Mimi DeLeon. And in today's video, I am doing a November recap and a December plan with me. So if you're interested, stick around. So if you're new here, welcome to my little corner of the world on YouTube. One of the things that I love to do is I love all things planning and productivity. And as a writer, I think it's extremely important for me to ensure that I am planning out the month to be as effective as I can be when it comes to reaching my writing goals. If you've been around, you know that this year has been trying, to say the least. And one of the things that I really noticed was when my planning was off, nothing really was getting done. So getting back into a routine, establishing a system was going to be vital for me in order to reach my overarching goal of finishing this novel. And I will tell you, I have had the best month in November than I've had the entire year of 2025. November for me was probably the most successful month that I've had as a writer in a while, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that I was really meticulous about planning out the month of November. Now, I didn't reach all of my goals, but I hit the most important goal, and for me, I'm considering that a win. So let's review what were my goals for the month of November. I always have 4 categories that I'm working with. Every month, it doesn't matter. Just those categories, maybe the subcategories will be a little bit different month to month. But my 4 main categories are always my health and fitness. They're always some type of personal, and personal could be, financial, family, recreational. That's kind of like a broad general category. The next category that I always focus on is my writing, because hello, I'm trying to be a published author. And lastly, social media / YouTube. Now, when I look at the beginning of a month, one of the things that I like to do is also kind of figure out or estimate the amount of time it's going to take me to complete a task. If you're familiar with the Pomodoro method, you will know that the Pomodoro method is 1 task block equals 25 minutes of focused work. So I had estimated for the entire month of November, thinking about my writing, thinking about social media, thinking about productivity and planning, that I would do about 132 task blocks. I would complete 132 task blocks. Most months I have a total word count goal that I want to achieve. The overall word count goal for my manuscript is 80,000. And I have a running count of how many words I've written so far and how many more words I need. I typically break that down even into smaller bits of how many words per writing session I want to achieve in order to give me that goal. Monthly word count goal that I was striving for, which was 17,167 words. I had a starting word count goal of 45,666. Now, in Scrivener, which is the writing software, it's telling me that I have about 90,000 words written in the entire manuscript. A lot of those words are words that are going to be eliminated, scenes that may be moved to book 2 or just deleted just entirely. And so I started tracking how many words within the manuscript that I have written that I was actually keeping. And right now that's sitting at 45,666 words. Besides those 4 categories of health and fitness, social media, YouTube, writing, and personal, the other thing I like to really focus on is tracking my monthly stats. I do it week by week, but then I also like to do a monthly total just to kind of see if I was successful in achieving my goals. So those are the things that I immediately consider before I sit down and start planning out my month. Again, my 4 categories: my health and fitness, my writing, my social media, YouTube, and then my personal goals. and then what are my overarching stats that I'm trying to achieve at the end of the month. One of the things that I love about this system is that it's easy. It's easy to utilize and anyone can use it. You don't need to be a writer. You can be a mom trying to manage her schedule. You can be an entrepreneur just starting the business and wanting to gauge where your time is being spent. It's a great system, something that I completely love. And yeah, it has definitely made the difference for me once I started really utilizing task blocks and managing and tracking my time. Before I get into what my overall stats for the month were, I want to go over what my subcategories were for each of the main categories. So for my health and fitness goals, it was a little ambitious, but hey, it is what it is. I wanted to exercise 5 times a week. I wanted to eat clean 6 out of 7 times out of the month. I wanted to measure my waist at least once this month. And then I wanted to do weekly weigh-ins to kind of see if I was reaching my goal. I exercised probably, I don't know, 3 times the entire month of November. So that goal was a fail. I didn't do a good job of tracking if I was eating clean 6 out of 7 days a week, but I want to say that I probably hit that goal about 85% of the time for the month. My husband and I, we went to the theme parks probably like 3 times in the month of November. Then we had Thanksgiving, and then we went to the movies. So yeah, there were days that I wasn't eating, or there were weeks that I wasn't eating, clean 6 out of the 7 days. But for the most part, I did really well with ensuring that I was eating well when I was home. So I'm gonna give myself a win for that day. I did not do a monthly measurement. I just forgot about it, to be honest. And then I did not weigh myself weekly. I weighed myself probably like twice in the month, and there was no movement in the scale in the direction that I wanted. I'm giving myself, out of 4 subcategories, I did well with just 1, and that was eating well. That was eating well the majority of the time. The next goal that I wanted to focus on was my personal, and for that one, I just had 2 things. I wanted to paint a watercolor painting, and I wanted to schedule a day date with my husband. I did neither of those. I did neither of those, but my husband and I did go out. We were very busy this month. We went to Disney a couple times, like I said, and we also went to the movies. So even though I didn't plan, it was mutual planning, but we still did stuff. So I'm gonna consider that a win. My watercolor painting, I've always painted. I haven't painted since I moved to Florida. I want to get back into that routine of painting again, just because I think it'll be a great creative break from the writing. So yeah, maybe December we'll get to it, but it did not happen in the month of November. The next goal was my YouTube goal. And for YouTube, I wanted to film and upload 2 videos, and then I wanted to create shorts and Instagram reels. Yeah, your girl did not do any of that. That was like a super fail. We're gonna be better about it the upcoming year. We're gonna do better. We're gonna be better. Now the writing goal, which is the most important goal, how did I do? We gotta insert a drum roll. How did I do with my writing goals? I had wanted to complete 20 writing days. I wanted to choose a scene from my mastermind to critique, and I wanted to do daily social media posts. I can tell you I didn't do any daily social media posts. That just didn't happen. I think I maybe posted, I don't know, maybe 5 times in the month, and I need to definitely improve in that area. I did find a scene for my mastermind to critique, and they gave me really good feedback. They enjoyed the scene. So there's some things that I need to do to strengthen it. So that'll be something that is something that I will take care of during the revision process. And then I wanted to complete 20 writing days with a writing word count goal of 17,167. And guys, I blew it out the water. I managed to hit my writing goal of 17,342 words for the month, and I did it in 17 days. So I hit that word count goal 3 days shy of what I had anticipated. And if I'm being honest, I probably could have surpassed it. I probably would have had a 20,000 word count goal for the month of November. But once I kind of hit that word count, I was like, you know what, I'm done for the month. And I stopped writing. I didn't want to push it. I didn't want to push my creative energy. I didn't want to push my head. Like, I knew that I was having a great writing session for the month of November, and I just didn't want to burn myself out. And I'm kind of glad that I did that, because I think that I kind of, I now looking at it, like, it's been a struggle to even write this week, because I think my brain was just like, yeah, you've done too much. So in total, I had only achieved 93 task blocks for the month of November instead of the 132. But like I said, even though every other area was not a success, the one that was the most important and the one that I have been struggling with for months, I just blew it out the park. So you know what? I won in the month of November, because my writing goal, I passed it, and that's a win. I ended up writing about 200 more words than my initial word count goal for the month. And my starting word count in the month of November was 45,666. I ended the month of November at 63,008 words. And I worked a total of 47 hours and 48 minutes, and that was really writing. That wasn't anything else. So I could have had a higher month had I not stopped 10 days before the end of the month. But that's okay. Sometimes that happens. Now that we've done a November recap, what are my goals for the month of December? I'm keeping it simple. One of the things that I really realized in those 10 days that I wasn't actively writing in the month of November, what I did was kind of sit back and look at what I needed to write. I did some outlining, did some shuffling of scenes to kind of see where I was. And so for the month of December, what I want to do is focus on Act 2 of the story. I was able to identify the middle plot point. It's a scene that I had written a while ago, so I was happy that, you know, that process is done. But I want to focus on all the scenes leading up to the middle plot point, and then the scenes after that. And so that's what my writing goal was going to be for the month of December. The other goal that I have is just to start brain dumping for 2026. Like, what are my author goals? What are my personal goals? Financial goals that I may have, just everything. And I want to start just looking at Pinterest and getting ideas and inspirations, because I want to start my vision board. I used to have a vision board. I didn't have a vision board, a physical vision board, since I left Connecticut. I have one on my iPad, but again, you guys know that I'm struggling digitally with, you know, kind of out of sight, out of mind. So I really want this year to have a visual vision board. So I'm going to start, baby's like, let me in. I want to start that process of gathering some images and some inspiration for my 2026 goals. The other thing that I want to do for the month of December is I want to be consistent with posting on YouTube. I want to post at least 3 videos. I may do like batch videoing. I think that's what I need to do. Just carve out a day out of the week and just record. I think that's something that I really need to take into consideration, because once I start writing, I don't want to stop the momentum to pick up the camera to vlog, but I also want to share the journey, because that's the whole point of this channel. So the goal is 3 videos, to upload them, and also to post on YouTube Shorts as well as Instagram, the same goals that I have for the month of November. The only other new goal that I'm putting in that category is to learn Premiere Pro. I use Premiere Rush, which is like the less complicated version of video editing. I'm paying for Premiere Pro, so I know that there's so much more that I could do as far as video editing. but I don't know how to do it because I'm not taking the time to really learn the software in the way that I should. So that's a goal that I want to, you know, that's something that I want to achieve or at least work on in the month of December. And my last is my personal goals. My personal goals for the month of December is to complete a watercolor painting. When I was thinking about why I haven't been able to paint for the last few months, because that has been a goal that literally has been something that I've been wanting to do for months now, I'm thinking of just having a little bit of like imposter syndrome because I haven't painted in a while. Like, am I gonna be good enough? Like, is my painting gonna be like worthy, you know? So I figured just to kind of get out of my own head, I would do a daily sketch practice and just kind of really just get back into the flow of just sketching and looking at composition and working on my highlights and my shadows and all of that. And then hopefully for the end of December, I will feel more confident in order to paint that watercolor painting. I wanted to exercise 4 times out of the week. I've dropped it. I'm trying to get myself in the swing of things. Definitely still eat clean 6 or 7 days out of the week and just do a measurement at the beginning of the month, and then that's it. I plan to do a video on what my process is on really just trying to be as healthy as possible as a writer, as a mom, as a wife, and just as a woman in this stage of my life. So those are my goals. So I'm going to do a little voiceover. I will show you guys what the end product is. All right, so that is the month of December. I got my writing days, but again, it's not going to be like writing per se, you know, words, but really looking at ensuring that the middle plot point and act 2 is completed in the way that it needs to be so that it's structurally sound. And then I have my mastermind scheduled, as well as my goals and my subcategories of those goals. So what is your planning process? Comment down below. As always, thanks so much for sticking around. If you made it to the end of this video, drop a blue heart emoji down below. And if you like this content and if you want to see more, let me know. I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Kwanzaa, just a blessed and joyous time with your family. And I will see you guys on the next one.